With threats to our nation waiting around every corner, adaptability is more important than ever. When conditions change without notice, quick strategic thinking is crucial. And with obstacles consistently impending, determination is essential in overcoming them. It's this willingness, decisiveness, and resilience that sets Marines apart. With our fighting spirit, we don't just fight battles, we win them. Marines are the constant our nation counts on to fight the unknown. And through adaptable problem solving, we do just that. Learn more at marines.com.
Again, player-driven, that feedback a lot of times goes a long way to where you can have a clear and concise view of what you want to put in, how you want to put it in, and what your installation might look like as you look to crank it up for the next season.
As we move through the end of October and through November, we will share episodes that address the wrap-up of the season and all that it entails. Today we take a look at the exit interview. Exit interviews provide a valuable opportunity for coaches to gather feedback from players at the conclusion of a season. This feedback can have a profound impact on coaching methods and strategies, ultimately contributing to team development and success. In this episode, we'll explore the importance of exit interviews, how they influence coaching approaches, and the benefits they bring to team dynamics and individual player development. Joining us to give their insight and methods into the exit interview are offensive line coach from the Arlington Renegades, Jonathan Himebauch, 5-time state champion head coach of Highland Springs High School, Loren Johnson, and defensive line coach from UTSA, Sadiq Haynes. What you see on tape is a direct reflection of what you teach and how you teach. Video is important, but if you don't teach well, you're not going to like what you see on your video. First Down Playbook has been helping coaches teach better for 13 years. It allows you to present installs, playbooks, and practice cards in half the time with NFL quality. Coaching tools like video pairing, a player app, practice schedules, and wristband sheets have made First Down Playbook a program management system with everything in one place. If you're in a position of leadership with your football program, receive a free 1-week look at First Down Playbook. Call them at 512-814-6158 or visit them on their website or social media. Mention Coach and Coordinator Podcast or use the coupon code COACH24 to receive a $100 discount off the normal $700 First Down Playbook team membership price. Links and the phone number are in the show notes. As coaches, we know that some of the biggest hurdles to our team's success can come from off the field. Your team needs support to tackle the endless list of expenses, uniforms, training equipment, travel, and more. But raising that money can feel like a full-time job. Thankfully, there's Vertical Raise. Vertical Raise is the premier online fundraising platform using innovative technology to create the easiest and most efficient system available. Raise more money in less time with a local fundraising coach who works with your team every step of the way to customize the ideal fundraiser. With options for online donations, digital discount cards, premium product sales, and even spirit shops, Vertical Raise has top-of-the-line solutions for every fundraising style. To find out more, visit verticalraise.com and we'll get you connected with an exclusive offer on your first fundraiser. First up, Coach Himebauch explains that after the season, he gives time to players to process their emotions before conducting exit interviews. He asks players what they would do differently next season, taking into account their opinions on scheduling, installation, and daily routine. The feedback from exit interviews helps him gain a fresh perspective and make informed decisions for the next season.
I tend to give a little bit of time after the season's over, let the emotions die down a little bit and reach back out to guys. And you know, it's not going to be the Monday after the season. Sometimes you got to do it because that's your schedule. And in college, sometimes you got to go hit the road recruiting. But I think if you can ask the player to say, what would you want to do differently next year that we did this year? I think those are some of the things that they might say schedule-wise or installation-wise, maybe daily routine that guys will have some good opinions on. And you look at the postseason feedback, and those I think are helpful, where you take the emotion out, you wait a little bit of time, you get back and you revisit with them and see what players have feedback-wise that might be able to help, just looking at things with a fresh perspective, not maybe right after a win or a loss where that emotion takes over. Player-driven, that feedback a lot of times goes a long way to where you can have a clear and concise view of what you want to put in, how you want to put it in, and what your installation might look like as you look to crank it up for the next season.
Has there been anything over the course of your career that's just been maybe eye-opening to you in how you do things, whether that's as a teacher in the classroom part of it or on the field, that you've gotten feedback on that's helped you go and develop in a positive way?
Well, I think every team's different, and I've been a part of teams that have won back-to-back championships. When I was in the Canadian Football League with the Montreal Alouettes, we won back-to-back championships, and one of the things that we said was, look, we want to go back-to-back, but this is a completely different team. The roster's not going to be the same. The season's not going to go the same. So even if you might have had success the previous year, you say, this is a different team, so let's not just rest on our laurels. And then I went from the past 2 years, most recently, on 2 championship teams with the USFL and Birmingham Stallions, and then in the XFL with the Arlington Renegades, where they were 2 completely different teams who had very different identities. And I think as a coach, don't force something. Let it happen. Every team's going to have a different dynamic. You're going to have different leaders. You're going to have different skill sets. And that's one of the things that I've learned just through great head coaches is don't force it. Let it happen and let it naturally just create their own identity, and let the leaders lead and let the followers follow, and let the ebb and flow of a season go. But you just want to continue to model great effort every single day, and you want to be able to be there and be there for your players, that your team's identity will come together, and don't try to force it. Each team's individual. Even if you are repeating with a lot of players coming back, it's going to be a different dynamic, and don't try to force it. Let it naturally happen.
Next, Coach Johnson describes their process of conducting exit interviews with players. They start with goal sheets and personality tests to understand the player's development and maturation. Additionally, they gather information through daily attendance and questions about player interests. This information helps them approach players differently and match them with coaches who have compatible personalities. The feedback from exit interviews and other assessments helps the team understand dynamics and facilitate individual development.
Yeah, Keith, I'm very excited about this. We've done it now for the last 4 seasons. What we do is we start off with just a goal sheet. It's very simple, and that may not be something that's eye-opening to everybody, but the next portion of it is every year for the last 4 seasons, we've done personality tests with our football players, and we've done them with our coaches in our exit interviews. The personality test just gives us an idea of who they are, and it gives us an idea of the maturation of a player as well. We have guys that finish as freshmen, and they have one personality, and by the time they're a senior, their personality is very different in the way they think and the way they function. So that helps us out tremendously. It gives us a great idea of who they are and what they do. And then in addition to that, once we start our off-season training, I know it's beyond the exit interview, but we take a daily attendance and we just use a QR code that a young man scan, and they ask them, of course, simple questions, their name, their current grade level. But then we ask a question of the day, just questions to get to know them. What was your favorite summer trip? What's your favorite snack? What's on your iPod? What's on your iPhone right now that you're listening to? Who's the person that you would like to have dinner with over a long period of time? And that information gathered has given us a great idea of who they are in extension to the exit interview. So we kind of get some information about them. We know who they are. We can approach them a little bit differently. And then those coaches, if they have the same personality as the players that we get from the exit interviews, personality test, then we match those coaches up because they have a greater result or a greater opportunity to connect with those individuals, and they kind of put them in a position to where they always have somebody to lean on, talk to, that understands them maybe a little bit more than Keith does or a little bit more than Loren does, and it kind of puts them in position, man, to be successful during our off season. And I think that pushes us a little bit further along during the off season because we can have conversations or attack different things that possibly are not known by other programs.
We finished with UTSA defensive line coach Sadiq Haynes. He emphasizes the importance of exit interviews in completing the season and preparing for the next one. He creates an environment of open communication and honesty, providing specific feedback to players about their performance, strengths, and areas for improvement. He also encourages players to provide feedback on how he can be a better coach. This open dialogue helps the team set goals, address weaknesses, and celebrate successes.
In my opinion, the exit interview is one of the most crucial pieces with not only completing the end of the season, but beginning the next. You know, I think one of the things we've done an amazing job here is creating the environment and the atmosphere to have open communication, to feel comfortable about expressing how you feel. And it's about honesty. So I never sugarcoat. If I think that you're half-tailing it today, I'm going to tell you. If I think you're not giving a perfect effort, I'm going to tell you. If I feel like you're a little off, I'm going to tell you. And rightfully so, I tell those guys, listen, I didn't create football. I didn't invent football. I don't think that I'm on my high horse. I understand I'll say stuff wrong sometimes. Guys feel comfortable to correct me. I understand y'all are the ones out there playing, so I'll listen to you if you bring back information. I think some of those small, fine, new details also goes a long way with being able to execute not only on game day, but overall as a program. So when you lead to those exit interviews, it's about putting together the total picture of who they were, your expectations, and where they need to go. So I need to be able to bring you in as a junior and tell you, listen, all right, this past season, I know this was your first time starting. You know, I was looking forward to you being able to go out there and execute and make plays. You had 100 opportunities, right? But you only made 2 plays. You could have made 40. If you continue down that route, I'm going to have to find somebody that's able to make those plays. And here's why. There were 7 weeks in a row where you had a negative play because of high pads. So you're consistently playing high. It comes down to your eyes. It comes down with peeking in the backfield. Right. I also think you probably can't move around as well as you were at the beginning of the season, right? Because you put on a couple pounds. So what I think you need to do in this offseason is get with the strength staff, work on flexibility, go in there, work on your eyes. You need to study tape, peek in the backfield too much. Focus on your keys. Maybe you need to use some of this time on your own to go get under the shoe. You got from now until spring ball. That's going to be our next chance to really see how much you've improved from what I'm telling you now to when you get to spring ball. So giving those guys specifics, if I think I need a guy to be stronger, telling him he needs to spend time in the weight room to get those numbers right, it's something that we create an environment here to where we communicate with our strength staff. They understand, they'll communicate with us, and they'll talk to us about, okay, what do you think this guy needs moving into the off season? You know, on our end in the weight room, we feel like it's the same as far as him having a foundation, being able to max out his squat, whatever it is, right? And it's usually coinciding with being the same. Or you can just have a guy, listen, you were late multiple times. If you look at your grades are showing the exact same thing that your on the field play is showing. You have off the field distractions. If you continue down this route, you're going to put yourself in a position to not have this, right? I think it's important to have those type of conversations and be honest. If you continue down the route that you're going, the results that you want, you will not get. Now, on the flip side, 3-time All-American, broke records at the school, and he's just a sophomore. How does that exit interview look? First, you know, I'll obviously always make sure you praise your kids. You know, you got to celebrate them as much as you tell them that they need to improve, right? So celebrate their successes. We'll always talk about and celebrate the successes of the room and then leading in. I think it's cool sometimes to open up to, before you even start the exit interview and you have all the, everything you want to say to them, you open the floor to them, right? Tell me how you feel like this season went. Tell me about your expectations and how they look right now, postseason. Just tell me how you feel, and then just listen. Just listen. And then maybe you have a conversation based on their answers, and then you go into what you're leading into wanting to talk about. And before I finish with those guys, I always ask them, from your standpoint, how could I have been better? And I think it's important to get feedback, right? I think it's important to hear from your kids. And I stress to them so much as I want them to get better every single day, I'm striving to do the same. So if you guys, hey coach, you know what, when you're installing, maybe can you do 2 diagrams instead of 1, at least for me. If you get 2 or 3 guys that say something like that, you got something in a way that you can improve. Maybe it can help more than just those 2 guys. So being able to open the floor to those guys and ask them, what can I do better to be better? And then just, their future, if you have guys preparing to go to the NFL, be open and honest with them, what they need to get done. It helps lead you into the next transition of the season, which is spring. And then it's easier to say post-season, post-spring, here's where we are. Leading into the fall, all right, based on what we talked about, either this wasn't good or you're on the right track, right? And now we have the summertime to clean up anything we need to, and then start to prepare for the transition into the fall season.
Exit interviews are a crucial tool for you to gather feedback, refine coaching methods, and understand team dynamics. By embracing the insight gained from exit interviews, you can shape your coaching strategies, allow team dynamics to naturally unfold, and foster individual player development. This commitment to open communication and continuous improvement lays the foundation for successful seasons and ultimately contributes to the long-term growth and achievements of both the team and its players. Keep tuning in to Coaching Coordinator as we take you through the playoffs and championships, as well as season wrap-up. Go to coachingcoordinator.com to sign up for a weekly tip sheet where we run down the best ideas from each week.